Within the last 3 hours, an explosive, highly classified medical dossier has leaked online, completely shattering the legendary, untouchable, biggest boss illusion of Rick Ross. In a devastating digital execution, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has officially pulled the pin on a social media grenade, unleashing a psychological doomsday drop that promises the permanent, irreversible destruction of Rick Ross's entire multi-million-dollar legacy. This is not about fake chains, and this is not about financial bankruptcy. This is a terrifying, highly confidential anatomical exposure. 50 Cent has obtained unredacted, forensic-level close-up photographs of a secret, severe, and deeply disturbing medical skin condition that Rick Ross has spent years desperately hiding behind closed doors, revealing a face and neck ravaged by deep, painful pitted scars and shocking lesions. As we speak, the self-proclaimed billionaire is reportedly trapped inside his own 300-acre Georgia mansion, completely isolated, frantically screaming into his phone as his global empire collapses in real time. What did 50 Cent just find? And why is the entire rap world standing in absolute silence? To truly understand the absolute, earth-shattering magnitude of the physical and psychological devastation unfolding across the music business right now, we have to completely tear open the historical archives and expose the raw, bleeding roots of this legendary conflict. This is not some temporary, casual social media trend or a manufactured marketing stunt designed to generate quick streaming metrics for a new album release. What you are actively witnessing is the catastrophic culmination of a brutal, 18-year psychological war of attrition between Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and William Leonard Roberts II, the man who meticulously built an entire multi-million-dollar kingdom on the hyperinflated name of Rick Ross. For nearly 2 decades, these two industry juggernauts have been locked in a venomous, blood-soaked rivalry where the ultimate goal has never been to simply score a Billboard hit or top the global streaming charts. No, the objective has always been infinitely more sinister: the total, uncompromising erasure of the other man's dignity, credibility, and legacy from the culture forever. Every single high-level insider in the entertainment industry knew that eventually, this ticking time bomb would detonate, and one of these titans would deploy a weapon so toxic it would leave the other completely ruined in the court of public opinion. This unadulterated hatred traces its dark origin all the way back to a single, explosive moment in 2008, a completely different era of the music business where internet beef was just beginning to replace street warfare as the primary arena of rap conflict. The match was officially struck at the BET Hip Hop Awards when 50 Cent, then at the absolute height of his terrifying global G-Unit dominance, allegedly gave Rick Ross a cold, dismissive look that completely ignited a fuse of intense, personal disrespect. Ross, a rapidly rising giant fueled by the massive commercial success of his early street anthems, took this silent dismissal as an unforgivable act of public humiliation. Within months, the conflict exploded as Ross released targeted tracks directly disparaging 50 Cent's financial empire and challenging his status in the streets. The response from the Queen's rapper was immediate, surgical, and historically devastating. 50 Cent did not just go to a recording studio to lay down a counterdiss. Instead, he deployed elite private investigators to dig deep into the hidden, sealed archives of the state of Florida. He emerged holding government employment records, official institutional checks, and background photographs that shook the hip-hop world to its absolute core. The man who had built an entire musical kingdom on the strict myth of being a global drug kingpin was exposed to the world as a former institutional corrections officer. The Officer Ricky revelation was an atomic strike. In that era's rigid credibility economy, an exposure of that magnitude should have completely terminated William Roberts' career within 24 hours. Any other artist would have permanently folded under the immense weight of the public mockery. But Rick Ross executed a mind-bending psychological survival strategy. He completely refused to fold. Instead, he chose to completely outflex the truth, doubling down on his wealthy presentation. He went out and purchased boxing legend Evander Holyfield's massive 109-room, 300-acre mega mansion, proudly named it the Promised Land, and flooded the digital landscape with an untouchable display of exotic cars, gold-plated aesthetics, and custom private jets to completely drown out the biographical truth. He forced the global audience to believe the presentation over the history, successfully manufacturing an illusion of untouchable boss wealth. But while Ross was busy celebrating his survival and flaunting his assets on social media, 50 Cent never stopped watching. Curtis Jackson is a master of slow-burning structural demolition. He understands with clinical precision that in hip-hop, a flawless physical presentation is not just a high-end fashion statement. It is the ultimate currency of credibility. 50 Cent knew that this hyperfixation on physical perfection and projection of godlike invincibility was Ross's ultimate Achilles heel, a fragile facade waiting to be struck. Even when hit with a massive $5 million court verdict in 2015 over a highly personalized sex tape scandal, 50 Cent strategically filed for bankruptcy protection, using the corporate legal system as a tactical shield to protect his real assets while transitioning into a multi-million-dollar television and film mogul completely independent of the rap music market. He quietly built an untouchable television empire while monitoring every single personal move Ross made, waiting for the absolute perfect moment to execute a strike that would dismantle the boss persona piece by piece. Which brings us directly to the terrifying reality of the current secret medical crisis, an exposure so profound it makes their past conflicts look like simple child's play and officially sets the stage for the catastrophic 24-hour countdown that has just brought the entire hip-hop industry to its knees. The absolute structural nightmare began flashing across insider networks at exactly 3:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday morning, completely tearing down the final remnants of corporate and personal secrecy. To fully understand how beautifully and ruthlessly calculated this strike truly is, you have to visualize the exact geographic coordinate where this luxury illusion was shattered. The ultra-private master suite of Rick Ross's high-security Georgia estate, the Promised Land. According to highly detailed leaks provided by high-level domestic staff who witnessed the entire event unfold, Rick Ross has been living a real-life horror movie behind closed doors. For the past several weeks, the rapper had reportedly ceased all face-to-face meetings, canceled major international business dinners, and refused to step outside his private quarters. The official excuse handed to his corporate partners was that Ross was simply in deep creative isolation, working on a groundbreaking new multimedia project. But the horrifying truth was leaked when an encrypted digital portal belonging to a high-end, exclusive dermatological clinic in Atlanta was reportedly compromised. Within minutes of this digital breach, a series of ultra-high-definition, unredacted close-up photographs surfaced on a private Telegram channel closely linked to the G-Unit media network. What these clinical images captured was nothing short of a biological catastrophe. The photographs revealed that Rick Ross's chest, neck, and upper jawline are currently ravaged by an aggressive, highly inflammatory skin infection that has left deep, permanent crater-like pitted scars and painful, weeping lesions across his skin. The contrast was horrifying. The legendary, multi-million-dollar, heavy gold Cuban link chains that Ross wears to project ultimate power had acted as a physical catalyst. The sheer weight of the jewelry, combined with the heat, sweat, and synthetic gold polish, had triggered a severe chemical friction, trapping bacteria deep within his pores and leading to a terrifying, flesh-eroding dermatological crisis. But as shocking as the physical visual exposure was, the true psychological horror movie was only just beginning to load. Less than 2 hours after the photograph was captured, 50 Cent took to his main social media feed, uploading the unredacted, close-up photo of the scarred, infected skin alongside a series of savage, mocking comments. 50 Cent posted, "Look at this. The biggest boss is literally rotting from the inside out. Ricky, you out here telling the kids to get rich forever, but your own body is trying to evict your face. You can't even wear your fake chains anymore because your skin is rejecting the cheap brass. The presentation is dead, Officer Ricky. The mold is taking over." The emotional fallout inside Rick Ross's immediate inner circle was described by insiders as nothing short of absolute, blood-soaked carnage. At approximately 4:30 a.m., an anonymous whistleblower leaked verified screenshots of an encrypted corporate WhatsApp group chat labeled MMG Executive Emergency. The text messages painted a terrifying picture of pure, unadulterated panic and internal corporate terror. In the leaked transcripts, Ross was reportedly going on a furious, unchecked rampage inside his mansion, screaming in all capital letters, demanding to know which member of his personal staff or medical team leaked the medical charts, and ordering his legal defense team to shut down the media servers immediately before his global liquor and lifestyle brand sponsors froze his distribution payouts. When his chief legal counsel responded that a standard cease and desist cannot pull down a photo that 50 Cent has actively hosted under a protected framework, Ross went completely out of bounds, threatening to fire his entire security and public relations staff. But right here, at the absolute peak of the chaos, comes the first mind-bending twist that has left the world's top corporate lawyers completely paralyzed with shock. As investigative journalists and independent medical consultants began deeply analyzing the leaked clinical records, they discovered a hidden, chilling detail that turned this entire celebrity scandal into a literal psychological thriller. This horrific skin infection was not a naturally occurring dermatological disease. It turns out that exactly 3 months ago, Rick Ross had allegedly undergone an illegal, highly experimental, and unapproved cosmetic procedure designed to artificially tighten the skin around his neck and jawline to maintain a youthful, aggressive boss appearance for his upcoming world tour. The black market chemical filler used in the procedure had completely migrated, causing a catastrophic allergic reaction and a deep tissue infection that was actively eating away at his healthy skin cells, creating dead tissue pockets and severe pitted craters. By exposing the horrific scars, 50 Cent did not just expose a natural illness. He accidentally revealed a secret, desperate attempt by Rick Ross to surgically alter his physical appearance, an attempt that had backfired so catastrophically it had turned his body into a medical hazard. The biggest boss had traded his health for a synthetic illusion of youth, and now, the bill had officially come due. The digital landscape did not just fracture, it suffered a complete and total structural collapse at exactly 1:15 p.m. yesterday afternoon when 50 Cent went live on his primary network. He wasn't sitting in a regular studio, and he wasn't broadcasting from the back of a luxury armored vehicle. Instead, he was streaming directly from the secure office of an elite medical fraud investigation firm. Over 2 million concurrent viewers watched in absolute horror as the G-Unit mogul held up a thick, notarized folder of medical acquisition contracts and laboratory records. Laughing hysterically while pouring a glass of premium cognac, he looked dead into the camera lens and dropped the second, most catastrophic twist of this entire saga. 50 Cent revealed that his media conglomerate had quietly executed a complete asset buyout of the exact high-end, offshore medical laboratory in South America that manufactured the experimental, unapproved cosmetic chemical filler used on Rick Ross's neck. 50 Cent does not just have a leaked medical record. He literally owns the manufacturing logs, the chemical formulas, and the digital server logs detailing every single shipment sent to Ross's private medical team. He announced that his legal team had automatically routed these forensic dockets to the Food and Drug Administration and the State Medical Board, triggering a high-stakes investigation that gives Ross's private doctors exactly 24 hours before their licenses are permanently revoked for administering unapproved, dangerous substances. This meant the medical scandal had officially graduated from a personal embarrassment into a major criminal and regulatory disaster. Instantly, the internet suffered a total algorithmic meltdown. The hashtag #MangledBoss went completely nuclear, tracking over 3 million chaotic, panicked posts within 3 hours on X, formerly known as Twitter. The digital space completely lost its mind as users began posting hyper-magnified, split-screen comparisons of Ross's past red carpet appearances against forensic charts of deep tissue chemical damage. One leaked Twitter thread from a verified industry insider read, "If 50 Cent actually bought the lab, it's over. He doesn't just want to win the beef. He wants to legally put Ross and his entire medical team in a federal holding cell." This is the most diabolical chess move in hip-hop history. Another viral tweet that gathered over 200,000 likes simply stated, "You can't call yourself the biggest boss when your worst enemy literally owns the receipt for the chemicals that melted your neck. Ross is finished." The firestorm quickly spread to Ross's closest industry allies, triggering absolute panic across the corporate boardrooms of Maybach Music Group. High-profile rappers and longtime collaborators tried desperately to intervene. Meek Mill attempted to mount an aggressive defense on his timeline, tweeting, "Y'all are falling for corporate propaganda. They trying to tear down a strong black billionaire over some fake medical photos. Don't believe the hype. MMG is forever." But 50 Cent, operating with absolute, clinical malice, clapped back within seconds, publicly telling Meek to shut up before he leaked the medical and plastic surgery invoices for his own secret cosmetic procedures. The psychological terror was so immense that Meek Mill completely scrubbed the post from the internet within 60 seconds, sending a wave of absolute, terrifying silence through the remaining Maybach Music Group roster. Even global superstar Drake, who has had his own complicated history with both artists, reportedly dropped a single laughing crying emoji on a major rap blog before wiping his social media activity clean for the day to protect his own corporate alignments. The corporate backlash became completely merciless by late evening. Top-tier luxury beverage brands and major global distribution partners reportedly called emergency midnight board meetings to immediately suspend their multi-million-dollar endorsement contracts with Ross, terrified of the impending brand damage associated with an illegal black market medical scandal. But just when the public thought the drama had reached its absolute ceiling, a third terrifying piece of evidence leaked from an encrypted source, raising the stakes to an astronomical level. A blurry, high-contrast photograph surfaced showing an official medical emergency transport vehicle parked directly outside the heavy iron gates of Rick Ross's primary Georgia estate, the Promised Land. The camera caught a close-up glimpse of hazmat-suited private medical personnel taking delivery of massive, heavy-duty silver medical storage cases. The return address stamped on the top corner did not belong to a local hospital. It belonged to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Infectious Disease Division. The leaked text accompanying the photo alleges that medical investigators did not just receive the chemical data, they are actively investigating whether the experimental procedure has triggered a highly contagious, resistant superbug strain inside the mansion. Is the federal government preparing to quarantine the entire 300-acre Promised Land mansion? What terrifying biological evidence is locked inside those silver containment cases? The doomsday countdown clock is moving closer to zero, and the answers are about to change everything. The sheer, terrifying velocity at which this medical scandal is expanding has completely overwhelmed the global digital infrastructure, transforming every major social media network into a volatile, high-octane battleground. We are talking about millions of live accounts, verified industry figures, and international news outlets locked in an absolute state of intense psychological warfare. The commentary sections across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have completely devolved into toxic, hyperactive trenches, dividing the entire cultural landscape into two fiercely hostile factions that are actively tearing each other apart. On one side of the digital trenches, Team 50 Cent has launched an absolute, remorseless victory parade that is utterly crushing the timeline. The internet has been completely weaponized by the G-Unit fanbase, flooding every single archival post of Rick Ross's luxury lifestyle with billions of biohazard, syringe, and green face emojis. The sheer level of public mockery has reached an absolute peak of cruelty. One viral post with over 400,000 likes reads, 50 Cent didn't just defeat him in a rap battle, he literally executed a hostile biological takeover of his entire physical body. Imagine flexing a billionaire empire for 20 years just to find out your worst enemy holds the master formula to the chemicals rotting your neck. Repo Ricky is officially out of bounds. If your face is turning into a high school science experiment, you aren't a boss, you're a warning label. But on the completely opposite side of the ledger, Rick Ross's diehard loyalists and hip-hop purists are firing back with an absolute, desperate rage. They are flooding the global algorithmic streams with dark conspiracy theories, screaming that the leaked clinical records, the laboratory invoices, and the infection photos are nothing but a highly sophisticated, deepfake cyber attack engineered by 50 Cent's specialized technical team to mentally break the boss. Top Ross fan pages have been uploading frantic, emotionally intense video essays, directly addressing the audience to defend the icon's legacy, claiming, Y'all are completely blind to the corporate and physical propaganda being injected into the culture. This isn't a medical failure. It's a calculated, targeted economic and physical assassination designed to dismantle a prominent black billionaire's independent infrastructure. The scars on his neck are nothing more than a dynamic lighting reflection or a temporary, minor allergic reaction to a standard, legal treatment. The mainstream news media has immediately capitalized on this explosive polarization, dragging the drama from internet blogs straight onto global television screens. Breaking news banners are flashing across traditional entertainment networks with relentless urgency. On the morning broadcast of the industry's biggest radio show, the hosts completely abandoned their scheduled programming, locking into an intense, 3-hour screaming match over the survival of the Maybach Music Group brand entity. Behind closed doors, the silence from other major rap stars is deafening. No one wants to get caught in the crossfire of 50 Cent's ruthless clinical receipts. Every major streaming platform is reporting unprecedented traffic spikes as viewers frantically refresh live updates, desperate to see if Rick Ross will be forced to make an emergency public appearance to prove his physical health, or if he will remain hidden behind the heavy iron gates of his estate. The division has grown so profound that even casual observers are realizing that whatever drops next will permanently alter the legal and personal boundaries of the music industry. But just when the public debate has reached its absolute boiling point, a shocking new leak is about to completely flip the script. But right here, at the absolute peak of the chaos, comes the most mind-bending, earth-shattering twist of this entire saga. A revelation so massive that it has left the world's top corporate attorneys and federal prosecutors completely paralyzed with shock. At exactly 2:15 a.m. last night, a high-level decentralized hacker collective operating on the encrypted layers of the dark web dropped a classified audio file simply titled mmg_medical_strategy_06. This file contains a secret, intercepted phone conversation between Rick Ross and his primary high-stakes criminal defense attorney, recorded just moments after the medical transport vehicles arrived at his estate gates. And the audio is bone-chilling. Rick Ross is not crying. He is not panicking, and he is certainly not hiding in his mansion in a state of ruin. Instead, what sent frozen waves of shock down the spines of everyone who listened to the leak was the unmistakable sound of Rick Ross letting out a slow, sinister, raspy, booming laugh. He tells his attorney in a tone that is chillingly calm, "Let him talk, man. Let him take the photos to the media and throw the invoices around." The idiot swallowed the bait hook, line, and sinker. He thinks he's playing high-level chess, but he just walked his entire G-Unit empire straight into a federal buzzsaw. The script of this entire conflict has just been completely rewritten in blood. According to the explosive legal strategy Ross outlines in the leaked audio, the entire medical default, the horrific skin infection photos, and the subsequent laboratory buyout was not a physical or financial failure by Maybach Music Group. It was a beautifully orchestrated, lethal reverse corporate trap. The leaked audio reveals that the offshore medical laboratory 50 Cent proudly bought out was already under an active, top-secret federal criminal investigation by the Department of Justice for international chemical smuggling, tax evasion, and distributing toxic, counterfeit cosmetic agents. Ross's financial advisors had discovered this sealed federal investigation months ago. Realizing that the entire business entity was completely toxic and destined to be seized by the government, Ross intentionally staged the secret procedure, ordered a harmless, temporary skin irritant compound to mimic a horrific infection under cameras, and left a blatant, easy-to-find paper trail for 50 Cent's private investigators to follow. Ross calculated that the moment the distressed laboratory went up for corporate sale, 50 Cent's toxic, deep-rooted obsession with physically and socially destroying him would force him to do something completely reckless. And that is exactly what happened. The second 50 Cent's parent company, Prestige Sky Holdings LLC, purchased that offshore medical operation. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson legally assumed 100% of the financial liabilities, the corrupted corporate history, and the active federal criminal investigation attached to that chemical facility. The dark web leak proves that the massive, terrifying federal presence at the gates of the Promised Land was not a health quarantine for Ross. It was a formal, prearranged federal deposition meeting where Ross was handing over his medical records as the primary cooperating witness against the laboratory. The federal government was actually warning Ross that they were moving in to freeze and seize the corporate accounts of the new owner, 50 Cent's parent company. 50 Cent didn't just buy Rick Ross's medical secret. 50 Cent accidentally bought himself a one-way ticket into a massive federal criminal investigation by trying to pull off the ultimate physical execution. Right now, unconfirmed reports are claiming that unmarked federal vehicles have just been spotted heading toward 50 Cent's corporate headquarters in New York, while local authorities have temporarily blocked off the main entries to Ross's Georgia estate to control the media chaos. The entire culture is holding its breath. This is no longer a rap beef. It is a literal countdown to a systemic execution, and the next 24 hours will change the music industry forever. The doomsday clock has officially entered the red zone, and the entire hip-hop infrastructure is on the absolute verge of a total structural collapse. I need to hear from you right now. Did Rick Ross just execute the most brilliant reverse trap in history, or is 50 Cent about to drop a nuclear counterblow that ends the MMG empire forever? Drop your predictions in the comments below right now. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. The absolute second that first federal asset freeze or arrest warrant drops, we are going live. Stay tuned. The destruction is loading.